Hi everyone, it's Dasher Dave here again, back for another crafty video. So this time today we're going to make this geode box. That's what it's called. It's called a geode box because it's got this unusual design in here. It is actually a box that you can open up. You can put some sweets in there, or chocolates, or whatever you want to put in there. I don't know, whatever you want to put in a box, I guess. But it's a great way to gift something. Just make it look a bit different. Now, I'll be honest with you, it's fiddly. It's fiddly to do. Now, I've seen pictures of these on Pinterest, but I've not seen anybody make one. So I've had to kind of stumble through it myself. So I'm gonna go through it with you, but I'll be honest with you, it is a little bit fiddly, and you do need to kind of take note of some of the things that I'm going to advise you on. So stick with me and we'll get this done, and we'll make one together. So I've scaled it up from the one that I had seen. Somebody had made a 2x2. This is actually 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 because it's just less fiddly to do this bit. Now I always make templates. I always make my templates, and I did it the same size, the 2x2. The animals went in. And it is, like I say, it's fiddly, but it's even more fiddly when it's in this size. But you can scale it up, you can scale it down. That's entirely up to you. But that's my template. I'm going to keep that to hand because it does help me work things out. So first of all, what you're going to need is you're going to need a piece of cardboard. Now, I would really suggest that you do not go too heavy on your cardboard. This is American cardstock cardboard. It's I cannot remember what weight American cardstock is. I will tell you. Let me just give you an idea. So it's some of this sort of stuff. So this is £80 or 216 GSM. So don't go too heavy on it. The heavier you get, the harder it'll be. You don't want anything too fibrous either. So I made this one in a 2x2 size, but this is really fibrous stuff and it starts to rip. So instead of using a file folder, I'm using something that's a bit utilitarian but isn't an actual file folder, because I believe it would do the same sort of thing. It'll buckle and it tends to kind of rip apart. So like I say, it's trouble, but it's worth it. It's a bit like me. I cause trouble, but I'm worth it. So what you're going to need is you're going to need a piece of cardboard, like I say. So £80, 216 GSM, something around that, 220 GSM. Don't go too heavy, it'll just cause you problems. Okay, so you're going to need to cut this to 11.5, okay, by 8 3/4. Okay, so 8 3/4. Just make sure that I've just turned that round. I did turn that round, didn't I? 11.5, yeah. By 8 3/4. Okay, so that's that. Then you're going to need a scoreboard or some way to put some score lines in. I'm not going to use that to decorate it with. I'm going to use something else. And my scoring tool. So with the long side at the top, so with it in a landscape orientation, you're going to score at 2 3/4, 5.5, 8 1/4, and then 11. Okay, then you're going to turn it round 90 degrees and you're going to score it at 2 3/4, 5.5, and then we're going to score it at 8 1/4. Okay, So that's it, that's your scoring done. So take that off your board, put your board away. Okay, so now what we're going to do is just going to score all of these folds in. So I'm just going to fold it over and score all of this in. Just make sure you fold it actually on the scored line, Dave. That's a good idea. And then this side. It's always best to put in all your score lines in after you've done any scoring, unless you need it for any purpose to be very flat, then this is a good opportunity for you to make sure it's all nice and square as well. So that's it. So now with it in this orientation, so by this orientation I mean you've got this, which is going to be our tab. This is our 1/2 inch down this side and our 1/2 inch down this side, down the bottom. So with your 1/2 inch tab on the left hand side and at the bottom, that's the orientation you want it to be at. So now we're going to come to where we're going to cut. Okay, so I'm going to draw on this to kind of just help you understand what we're going to do. Okay, so first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to cut along this line here, yeah, and along this line here. I'm going to cut this off completely. So this whole tab is going to come off completely. This one, we're going to cut down this line here, all the way down the line, and we're going to cut down to about here. And we're going to cut all of this off and we're going to leave a tab here. Okay. This one, we're going to leave the entirety of it and leave it completely on because we're going to form this into a tab at the bottom. But we're going to cut down this side. Okay. And we're going to cut along here to form a tab here. So this will be a tab and then the rest of this is going to get cut off. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to cut the rest of this bit off here. So we're going to cut down this line and we're going to cut this off. Okay, my pencil's going for a button. Okay, and then we're going to cut all the way along these 3 panels to make them into tabs. So we're going to cut all along. It won't be quite that big, but like we're going to cut all the way along and we're going to cut all of that off to there. Just put a line in there. Okay, you won't be drawing on yours. This is just for me to kind of help you. And obviously we want to cut a line in between all of those tabs. We're going to cut that last bit off. I'm going to cut that off. Okay, so, but before we do any of that, I want you to turn it 180 degrees now so that you have the 1/2 inch down the left hand side, sorry, down the right hand side and at the top. The 1/2 inch tabs are at the top and the right hand side. And it's this area that we want to. So there are 4 squares here, one of which will be a tab, but we're going to leave it whole for now. And what I want you to do then is using the middle of this, the center of these 4 squares, this what I would call a crosshair, well, that's this line and this line where they intersect on there. Pop your ruler on, okay. Find your 2 inch mark and put that right square smack bang in the middle. Let me just see if I can find the middle so that I can see it better. So that's the middle. Pop that on that middle line and then measure out 1 inch from there. Sorry, 1.5 inches from there. Okay. And then 1 inch from there. And you're just going to put a dot. You're not going to do anything more than that. You're going to go 1 inch out from this side and 1.5. So you should have a dot on the 1/2 inch. If you're looking at the ruler going across on the with your crosshair on the 2, you're going to go at, according to the ruler, 1.5, 1, 3, 3.5. So that's 1 out from either side of this crosshair and 1.5 out. And then you're going to turn it 90 degrees. Doesn't matter which way round you go, as long as you remember to put it back in the same orientation. And again, you're going to do this side and you're going to do exactly those measurements again. So you're going to go 1 out from the middle on both sides and 1.5 out from both sides. And the reason why I said the 2 is because the 2 is easier to find than the 1.5. Okay, so now you've got these dots. Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to take those and you're going to line up the 2 outer ones going diagonally across this panel. Now, I realise it's tricky, but like I say, it's going to be worth it. And now what you want is you want a ball tool or a scoring tool of some kind, and you want to, don't press really down so you cut it or drag it, but you just want to put a crease line across there. Go over backwards and forwards a couple of times, and then join those 2 dots up, the next dots in, and join those 2 up just on that one panel. So just on this one panel. Yeah. Then you're going to go across to the next panel. So the one that's diagonally opposite. Find those 2 pencil marks and join those up. If you don't want to make this box, that's fine, you can just watch me do it. So then find the next 2 pencil marks, join those up and put a score line in. Okay, so now you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, and now you're going to turn it back the other way and you're going to do the other ones as well. So this is what's going to form your geode. So you're going to join those 2 dots up on this square. And you're going to join those 2 dots up. Might be easier for you to see than I can. There you go. And then across to the next bit. And you're going to join those 2 up. And then across to the last bit, and you're going to join that up. And what you'll get is you'll get this diamond shape. So let's turn it all the way back round to the way that we had it originally, which is the 1/2 inch tab on the left hand side and the 1/2 inch tab at the bottom. So now what we've got in this top right hand corner is we've got this diamond shape. Okay, so now we can do the cutting. So we're just going to lift it up and we're going to cut along this line first. We're just going to cut all of the vertical lines. I'm just trying to think what direction, what orientation that is. Vertical lines, Dave. I'm going to cut all of those up first, just to make it easier, so that I'm cutting in one direction every time, and you can follow along that way. Okay, so we're going to cut all the way up. We're going to turn it so that we're now going to do this side, and we're going to cut these things out. So remember, this one is coming off completely. Okay, so that's coming off completely. This one we're going to cut short, yep, into a tab. But we don't want to go all the way across because we want this one to be a full thing. So we're going to cut that into a tab, and we're just going to shape that into a tab. Okay, we're going to leave that one whole. So we're going to just pop it out of the way, and we're going to cut that one down to a tab. Okay, and turn it back and turn this into a tab. Like that. Okay, we're going to cut this one off. Just cut it off. Okay, so let's get rid of these pieces so they're not confusing anybody. Okay, and then we're going to turn it. We're going to turn it round 180 degrees, and now we're going to cut this side. So we're going to cut this all the way down, this all the way down, this all the way down, Again, we're just putting in all of those horizontal cuts, and this one all the way down. So the reason why we're doing it like this is because it's much easier to put this diamond shape in when this is a whole piece rather than with pieces cut out of it. Sorry, I've just realised I've cut that really terribly. Okay, so now we've got those, what we're going to do, just going to turn it back so you've got this tab towards you, and you're going to cut this bit off, the tab on this top half off. Okay, we're going to cut this down to being a tab. We're going to cut this next panel down to being a tab, and this next panel down to being a tab, and we're going to leave that last piece completely whole. Okay, we're just going to straighten that line up though. So there we go. Cool. So we've got those. So let's just turn that back to the orientation. Oh, let's just put these tabs in before I turn it back to the orientation. Put these tabs in. So we're going to just cut this down to a tab. And this one, this side, this, and this, this, and this. Okay, so we're going to turn this back to that same orientation that we had it at the start. So this is the same orientation that we had, which was with the tab at the left hand side and at the bottom, but this is the shape that we now have. So if you want to just kind of freeze frame that and say, okay, right, let me just use that as a, you know, a go back to base point, then do that. Okay, so that's where we are. Okay, now just realized I didn't cut this tab into shape, so I will. Just going to cut it. Try not to cut any of my hand off. Okay, so now that we've done that, what we need to do is we need to put these, we're going to create this geode shape. Okay, now this is where it gets fiddly. So what you want to do is you're just going to, I'll always bring it back to this orientation once I've finished, but I'm going to pick it up, and now what we're going to do is you're going to bend this, the outer diamond, you're going to bend so you're creating a mountain. So this is the outside of the box, you're going to create a mountain fold on each one of these. This is where it starts to become a bit fiddly. So you're going to bend that into a mountain fold. You can rotate it and bend it in the next panel into a mountain fold. So a mountain is like stands up. So you're just going to pinch that into place, okay? Using the folds that you've got, pinch it all into place, okay? Then you turn round to the next panel, and again the outer fold, the outer line, into a fold line that is a mountain fold. So again, just pinching that all in to place. Now, like I say, it's fiddly, but it's worth it. I never said it was going to be easy, but I said it was going to be worth it. So then we've put those in, and now we're going to turn around to this last panel and put this one in, okay? All the way round on the outside ones, pinching that into place, just pinching it all in nicely. So once you've got it in, just squash the box in so you can pinch that tab in. You won't be able to do it completely all the way around, but you just want to make sure that it comes to some sort of a nice point, okay? Just pinch it, there we go. Cool. Once you've got those in, now what you need to do is you need to put this bit in, the next line in, which this time, instead of like going the opposite direction, I'm just having a think then, it's not going to go in the opposite direction. You're going to do a mountain fold again, which seems counterintuitive, but it is another mountain fold. Okay, so you want to put that in as a mountain fold. So mountain folds, remember, are always the ones that stick up. So this is where it starts to get really fiddly, and this is why you'll be glad you didn't use a really heavy cardstock, because otherwise it will all start to crush and look horrible. Okay, so again we're going to put mountain fold in. So you are going to get a bit of crushing on this bit, but that's absolutely fine as long as you're using a lightweight cardstock that isn't too fibrous, you'll find that you'll be able to get all of that to come back nicely. Again, round. And this is where it all is even harder trying to get it in, keep it in camera. So folding it into a mounting, and again on this last bit. Now this last bit isn't so worrisome because it's a tab. It'll be on the inside and you won't really see it. So okay. What am I doing? I've said a mounting fold and it's not. It's a valley fold. I'm really sorry. This bit is a valley fold, not a mounting fold. But anyway, you've put it in as a mounting fold. If you put it in as a mounting fold, it's easier to just bend it on the other way around. I'm so sorry, completely. I'm just confused myself. So I made this one which went horribly wrong, and then I made this one, and that's all I've made, like, which is literally what I do when I make any kind of prototypes. Usually you're at the very cutting edge of me having made something. So now that we've got that all in shape, so you've got a mounting fold on the outside and a valley fold, Dave, on the inside. Probably all shouting at me going, that's wrong, which, you know, it's fine. I'm allowed to get things wrong, and also I get things wrong and I leave them on camera. So there we go. So that's it. That's the shape that we want. Okay, so now what we need to do is we just need to kind of start to assemble this. Okay, so the first thing to do is pop it back into that orientation that we had it. So this is with the tab at the left hand side and the tab at the bottom. Didn't cut that into shape either. Do that. Okay, so I'm just going to rub out any pencil lines that you might be able to see so that I can use the box, because these boxes will be used. These are going to be Christmas presents. I have some Christmas presents in. But remember, you won't have pencil lines on yours, because you might have a pencil line where you've put those dots but then just rub them out now. But you won't have pencil lines on all of those marks because you won't need to because you'll have used that freeze frame that we took. So now what we're going to do is we're going to just flip it over. So this is the inside of the box, and now we're just going to create the box shape first. So we're going to fold it over like this, and we're just going to put glue on this tab to be able to glue that bit down. Okay. So up to the edge. Now if you want to use double-sided sticky tape, or you've got one of those, what are they called? I always get it wrong. Not APT, that's an advanced passenger train. I can't remember what they're called. Advanced tape gun, ATG. Or adhesive tape gun, I think they're actually, rather than advanced. Okay, so we've made the box shape. This is where our geode is going to be. Okay, so that's the next bit that you want to form. Before you put the rest of the box together, that's the next bit you want to form. So your tabs are obviously going to go inside. Yeah, so you just want to make sure that they bend in nicely. I would keep this tab on the top because that will just help you shape the box. Okay, so you're going to bend it in. And like I say, it's going to start to be really fiddly. So once you bend that tab over, if you've shaped it, bend that tab over, that will push it into that geode shape. And there you go. That's the geode shape that we've got. So because we spent all that time pinching and bending and that sort of thing, you should kind of sit in nicely. Now what you want to do is kind of just hold it in that shape for now. And you just want to put glue on your tabs. So it's very hard for me to show you because it doesn't bend back so easily once you've got it in the geode shape. So you're going to put glue on these tabs. Remember, you want to glue right up to that edge where it bends, all the way along this tab. Not on that side, Dave. Okay, so with that all in shape, you're going to push that all together, yeah, and then use this open side to just squeeze those two, that shape together. So keep your finger on the inside of there, and then squeeze that shape together. And you're just going to use it to just use the fingers on the inside just to tease it, so that these lines, this cut line and this folded line, line up nicely. Okay, so like I say, it's fiddly, but it's worth it. Now this is when you might be like really grateful that you've got one of those advanced passenger trains. No, sorry, whatever they're called, ATGs, because it will grab instantly rather than the glue, which does have a little bit of a wiggle in it, even if you're using your art glitter glue. But I actually prefer glue when I'm making boxes, because if you're using your art glitter glue, you tend to get a much nicer, longer lasting finish. So that's the geode bit in. Like I say, just make sure that it all glues in nicely. Make sure that you kind of glue it in square as well, Dave, because that's that bit. Like I say, if you use your advanced passenger train, whatever it's called, is it ATG? ATG, not an APT. An APT is an advanced passenger train. Okay, so just marry that bit up, and then I'm just going to glue the rest of these tabs in. Just flipping that open so that I can get my glue in there. Don't get it on the sides that you're going to see, Dave. And then once you've done that, you're just going to put it on a firm surface and get your fingers in there and get where's my whistle do? Glue that bit in. So that bit's the glued bit. The rest of it is not glued. Okay, so this bit is where you are going to be able to access your box. So you're going to close that up, and that's going to be the bottom. So the bottom is actually the bit that you access via, and the way that you give the person that indication is you just put a punch in it. So what we're going to do is we're going to cover this, but we're going to cover this with some cardstock. So we're going to cover it with some of this. So I thought we might use whatever we've got here. So I thought we might cut 3 out of this and 3 out of that. So what you're going to need is you're going to need to have the size that you're going to need is 2.5 by 2.5. So you cut out 6 2.5 by 2.5 inch squares. So we'll do that first, and I'll do that now. Still using this thing that's blunt as anything, but so 2.5 by 2.5. Actually, I need. Yeah, I might need all of these pages, to be fair. So go there. 2.5 by 2.5, and then 2.5. Take that off, and then I'm going to turn it around. Cut it the other way. 2.5. Cut this down to 2.5. Knew that wouldn't cut. It was asking a bit much to cut through all those sheets, wasn't it? So get rid of that for the time being. Well, for the time being, for now, or forever. So we've got different patterns. That's fine. So we want 6. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick 6 that I like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I take one of them out, put one of them in. Okay, so 3 of them you're going to need to be cut into this shape. So what that means is you just need to make a mark at the 1 and an 8th line. So let's show you what I mean. So take one of these on the back. Oh, do I want to use the back? I might want to use the back actually of those, yeah. So I'm going to use them that way up. Sorry, just changing my mind while I'm trying to show you something. So from one corner to down one side, you want to mark 1 1/4. You're going to mark that line there, and then on that same corner, but on the other side, you want to mark 1 1/4 again. Do that, 1 1/4, 1 1/4 there. Okay, then what you're going to do is you're going to put those 3 pieces together that you're going to cut, and you're just going to cut from that dot, or you can use your blade if you prefer, from that dot to that other dot in a straight line, and that will give you your panels that will sit around your geode. Yeah, so before we do that, we're going to do a bit of inking just to make it look a bit different, nicer, older, younger, whatever. Find a piece of the right thing is what I'm looking for. So I'm going to ink this, so you can really emphasize that line on your geode. Do that same on there. And that way then you can kind of, it picks out that shape. People can see then that it's actually not just a figment of their imagination or a trick of, what's the thing? Trompe-l'oeil, isn't it? Trick of the eye. Remember, it's a box, so you've got plenty of corners to, sides and corners to ink. I didn't ink that one. That's just my display one. But I'm going to go for a kind of a more utilitarian look on this one. So although it's quite tricky, I timed myself while I was doing this. It takes about half an hour to do when you're doing a video. Certainly what the stop clock says, but if you were making it without trying to keep your fingers out of the way for videos, it probably takes about 20 minutes to make one. But like I say, you just take your time and you make one, and then once you've made one, you kind of get the hang of it, and you think, oh yeah, actually that wasn't as tricky as I thought it was going to be. But like I say, it makes it all worth it, isn't it? So once you've done something, and sorry, the dog's just come and gone at me, because that basically means that he's not happy that I've been up here for so long. Okay, so this is the bottom bit that we're going to be opening up, so I'm just going to ink on that tab. Now I was in 2 minds about whether to do this as a how-to, but I thought, well, you know, you've been making boxes with me for a while, and if it, you know, there's sometimes the more complex ones are the more interesting ones. So I just thought, well, you know, I'm gonna give you the opportunity. You can decide. You might just want to watch it and just go, oh, you know what, I like the idea of that, but it's too much for me. Or you might say, oh, I like the idea of it, I'll get somebody else to make me some of them. That's absolutely fine. And if you do share it with somebody, please let me know you've shared the video. And please also give the video a like. I'm begging you, not just asking you, I'm begging you to like this video. If you've liked what I've done, then like the video. You don't have to comment. I don't expect everybody to comment. I like it. I like it when you do. It's so much better for my channel if you do. You could just put a smiley face. But you know, I get it. Some people are quite shy and they don't want to do that. But like I say, I always go back at the end of the week. If I haven't liked something directly because I've been watching it on the TV, which doesn't always give the option on the TV, then I always go back and check what my watch history is and just go through and like those things that I might have missed out on at the time. So I'm going to use this one, which is darker, which is my ground hog day. No, ground espresso. Is it ground? It is ground espresso. I'm going to use this on this one. I don't know whether this is one of the ones that I've replaced. Did I buy a new one of these? Just to give it that kind of look. Much nicer. I think that looks much nicer than that does without any. And also, it just covers up that very white edge, which I kind of wished I'd done on that one. But like I say, it was my demo box. It'll look good in the photo, I'm sure. So, the thumbnail, I mean. And again, just inking all of these around. Just gets rid of that white edge for me. That's the thing that I like about these, doing it like this. So these are the ones with the corner cut off. These are the ones going to sit around the facet, and the other ones, these ones, just the squares, these are going to be just on the other panels. So it's not bad, is it? A box in like half an hour? A fancy box in half an hour, like that. Tell me, do you like it? Do you like it inked or not, or do you prefer it to be quite clean and crisp? I guess that one appeals to other people that don't like the grungy look, but I'm definitely a grungy person. The grungy look for me is the thing I like best. I'm hoping that Vic hasn't arrived yet, because he probably won't be able to get in, because I've realised I've locked the front door. So I shall do this and then I shall go and let him in if he's outside. So, and also I think my phone's on, it's on airplane mode, airport mode, no, airplane mode. Oh, something just buzzed then. I thought, oh, maybe that is him, but no. No, they're getting lots of buzzing, but not from him. He was finishing at 6 today, so, and it's 20 to 7, I think. It's 10 to 7 actually. So these are all going on the square, the full square side. Now if you wanted to cut something intricate to go on the facets, you could. I haven't. Well, I certainly didn't on that one. Depends on how fiddly it is, doesn't it, really? So on all the full square ones, we're going to put these. Good way to use up all those little bits of paper that you might have. Close that up. And I'm not going to cut the thumbnail out until I've put these on. Glue the panels on first and then do that. So you're going to line that up with the very edge of that one and then just place it down. Then we're going to flip it over to that side. Make sure you glue the right side, Dave. Don't glue the bit that you've just inked. All the way up to that edge. And a bit around the middle. And again, butt it up to the edge, put your finger in place and lay it down. Flip it over. I'm doing the same with the last one. At a moment there I thought, oh, I've glued the wrong side, but I haven't. I decided not to use this side, that's why. a little bit of fluff off there. Line that up with there. Right down. There we go. So, like I say, you could glue, you could put something on there if you wanted to. I don't know whether I would even try. It would be, I'd need, how big would I go? So I'd go for 3/4 of an inch square. Shall I just see what it looks like? Shall we see? You might go, oh, I don't like that at all, and then you'll know not to do it yourself. So, do you want to go with the same? Yeah, let's go with the same thing. So 3/4 of an inch is there. Oh, it's very hard to get that on there, isn't it? I need 3 of these. I don't know whether I can get that one to cut without it moving. Right, put that on there. Hold that down really firm and hopefully, there we go, cool. So I always change things up when I'm with you guys, it's your fault. So 3/4 of an inch, and if we cut it off, we go corner to corner, should be, right, let's just have a look at which way orientation so we're going to go that way, that way, and then maybe that way. Yeah. Well, we'll have a look and see what happens. I could have perhaps just used 2 of these. Stick that on there. Well, we'll give it an ink and we'll see what it looks like. And then you guys can go, oh no, I don't like it like that. And I'll just have to put up with it. There's way too much glue on there, so I'm just going to wipe that off. So I'm going to fiddly fiddles. Get that in there. Oh, don't. Sorry, I couldn't cope with that. That was not in the right place at all. Do I have a pair of tweezers? I do. Are they any good? Oh, that's another story. Dave, trying to do things with your left hand just doesn't work. I am not ambidextrous. So pop that in there. Get it in the middle. Put it down. I don't know, it's quite an interesting look. Now we need to ink that, Dave. Guess that should be similar sort of orientation to that. That's what will decide the orientation. It's decided by the panel itself. Grab hold of that. Don't try and do it with your left hand, Dave. You just established you can't do it with your left hand. Moosh out the glue. Drop it on the. No. Put that in there. Glue it down. And then this side is again in that same kind of orientation. So is that going to be, yeah, that's completely going the wrong way, the text. That way, that's fine. Put some glue on here before I use the tweezers. I've established that I can't use tweezers. Not for any length of time. Put that in there. we go. So that's it. So that's oh, I actually quite like that. I think that looks really cool. That almost looks like there's another one inside, another cube inside sticking out. Love it. So there we go. So we'll just pop a thumb hole in there, and then we'll ink that down so that it looks appropriate. Otherwise it'll look too clean. Hole there. Ink it down a bit, and then close that up. Obviously you could have your tabs the same size, but I won't. And that's it. So that's our other geode. So like I say, it's fiddly, but it's worth it. It doesn't take a huge amount of time. You know, I know you could argue that, well, you've been making a few of them, Dave, and you would say that, but I haven't made loads of them. Literally, I've made my sample one, which is the black one. Yeah, I always make everything in black card when I'm sample making, prototype making, sorry. And I've made the yellow one, which I thought was a disaster. I thought, well, I'm not going to do that again. And then I made this one, and then I made this one with you on camera. So I haven't made loads of them. Take your time on the first one. Get to grips with it, and I'm telling you now, you'll be able to make them, and they look just really cool. They're just really nice little gift boxes that you can put some sweets in, or just make it look a bit different. I really like the actual panels in there, so I'm glad you made me do it. So so there you go. So I hope you'll give those a go, and if you do, please link me, please you know, say where you got the idea from, please, you know, share it with your friends, please don't forget to like the video, comment, of course, I really appreciate comment, a subscription to the channel would be absolutely amazing, and I'm on 1748 I think at the moment, so I'm getting closer to the 2000 mark than I ever thought I ever would be. So thank you everyone, for everybody that supported me. Don't forget you can buy me a coffee, or support me on Ko-fi. I have free digitals on Ko-fi, plus a few that are about 50p or something like that. And anything I make in this month, so in the month of October, will be put in to either buying the stuff for my mum's 90th birthday journal that I'm making, or it will go towards buying her something. So thank you so much for your love and support. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for being here, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care, lots of love, have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you soon. Take care, bye. Lots of love, lots of hugs, and I'll see you soon. Take care, bye.